So let's do something a little bit differently today. Normally, I do a photo critique. My students and Facebook group members send in their images and I critique them. But we're gonna do a little time travel and go back to one of my very first boudoir sessions, and I'm gonna critique my own work. I haven't really looked at these critically, probably since I took them. Because, I mean, I've grown a lot, I've learned a lot, my style has changed quite a bit, and I generally don't go back and look at my old work to see how I could improve it. I just look at each shoot as I do them, and I learn from there. This is my first time going back and really looking at these photos from 6 years ago to like when I first decided to do boudoir. I put a Facebook model call out, and this was from that night. I had no idea what I was doing, but the whole part of this was for me to figure out what I was doing. So I'm gonna get my red pen and I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna pick apart my own work and tell you what I would change now if I were to go back and redo these. Let's dive in. Alrighty, so I got my trusty tablet here, and I did allow one couple to come in, and I don't shoot couples normally, not in a boudoir setting, but I did this time. I didn't hate them. I mean, the photos, not the people. The people are super cool, but it's just not something I'm really interested in, and so I haven't done a whole lot with it since. But just looking at this image, like I always do, I look through the photo, I blur everything, so let's see what this would look like, just so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. So what I'm doing is essentially taking the context out of the photo, and I just want to see lines and shapes and the brightest points of the image, which there's a line going right through here. That's distracting because it's not actually them. Also, my horizon looks a little bit crooked. The room looks tilted. It's probably just from, I don't even know. I think I was using the 5D Mark II at the time. I don't even know what lens I would have been using. I could look, but that's not the point. All right, so let's mark this thing up. So firstly, there is so much bright light coming out of this window back here. I should have closed the shutters, right? Lesson learned, because I just wanted this triangle to be my main focus of the image. I feel like I did a pretty good job with that part of it, but man, that background, super distracting. And little things like I could have cloned out this lamp. That would have been great. His toe is cut off in the edge of the frame. We've got a claw hand over here. We've got claw hand over here. That's awesome. I do like how he's broad lit, though I would have brought his chin back over to about there, just a little bit. He's turned a little too far away from what I'm liking. I love how her hair is sitting. I love her arm back there, the way her hip pops out here. I could knock down this knee a little bit because it's kind of bright. And as I mentioned, the way the floor is, I had to have been shooting my wide angle. What was it? A 14 to 40, I think is what I shot a lot of wide angle stuff with. This had to have been at like 24 millimeters to get that kind of skew going on there. They loved the image, which I guess is the most important thing. Also, I do have a rim light on her here and on her hair, which I did like that, and back here, so it gave us some separation. So little posing things. I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do in this kind of environment yet, and also eliminating background distractions when you shoot in a sort of low-key-ish environment. So that is image number one. And by the way, there were, I don't know, probably 40 images in this folder. I just randomly grabbed thumbnails and brought them in here. I didn't go through and pick out which ones I wanted to critique. So I legit have not looked at these. So much wrong with this one. Crooked horizon line that cuts right through the center of her face, right through her eyes. That's awesome. Also, hip popped away from the camera, which is good. You shift the weight away from the camera in order to slim down the part that is closest to the camera. I know that now. I think at the time, I just got lucky having her clip her garters on there. But this knee, I would have had her bring it out more to get some separation, because when you have this leg that feeds into this leg, it's just, these are like hard square lines. It's not hard vertical lines in here. Not flattering. I love the face being covered by the hair and just eyes being visible, whether or not they're open. I still think that's cool. I do that a lot. It is a really awkward looking pose though. And yeah, the crooked background, garbage. And there's like this comforter right here, which cuts through the middle of her leg. That's kind of distracting. I would rather have left the whole white sheet there. Yeah, just really awkward looking pose. Tilt a little bit. Not ideal. The exposure is good on all these. I'm stoked for that. Her hair looks great. This is like her favorite image from the shoot. I want to say it's like still her profile photo on Facebook from like 6 years ago. Some great things about this. I like her angles. I like how her arm is. It makes her biceps look good. She does circus art, so I'm sure she appreciates seeing muscle definition. But the back of the hand, that should have been on top of the leg. It should not have been the entire back of the hand facing the camera. Also, the toe is cut off right here. I cropped that way too tight. And I didn't know enough about working with flash yet and high speed sync, because that wasn't really a thing with the old school Pocket Wizards and my old Calumet flash. If you'll notice a dark stripe down the side of the frame here, and there's like a fuzzy sort of gradient going along, that's clipping. That means my shutter was closing, moving this way, before the flash went off. It wasn't a totally exposed frame. Or either it wasn't open yet, or it was just starting to close. But either way, that's clipping. I had my shutter speed up too high, and I had no idea. And my rim light is way too bright over here. My Photoshop skills, even probably still not good enough to get rid of this lamp with the gradient in the wall over here, but I could have darkened it a little bit. I don't like the hard square that's right above her head. I don't mind this as much. But even still, like the flow of the couch, everything looks tilted, and she's tilted the other way. It kind of counterbalances it, but I'm still cropped in too tight, cutting the toe off there with the hand. And the clipping makes her ankle look all dark and muddy. This was like when I first started learning my editing style, and I didn't know how to do any of these things yet. That's awesome. I've done so many shoots in this hotel since then, because everything inside is dark red, black, and gray. It's amazing, with like some white trim, but I love it. All right, let's keep rolling. Solid. Okay, so much wrong here. Firstly, it's kind of a weird crop. I cut through part of her hair on this side. I should have given more space over there, because I'm also cut right through her hand, which looks awkward. Her face looks fantastic. I should have brought her chin up just a touch. The hands look good. The arm is good here. She's not at a terrible angle, but I would have brought this knee out a little bit more to pop the hip there. And when you separate the knees, you get more of an angle on the feet, as opposed to it looking like one leg. But I like that it features this. I don't do selective color where I like make the whole thing black and white and then I turn colors back on. I drop the vibrance down to -85. So a lot of the color fades out, but I'm not doing selective color. So the skin tones, she's super pale on white sheets, and so that gets almost white, but you can see the color in the lips and the tattoo here. That isn't selective color. There is some skin tone. You can see it in her feet and on her legs here. I totally should have turned this lamp off. There's no reason to have a bright object right behind my subject's face. Yeah, and she looks smushed. If she would have been turned instead of at this angle, at a little bit more of an angle, it would elongate the body and she'd look less short. Yeah, I just cropped in too tight. Now I do poses like this at almost all of my shoots and they all sell, but I'm way better at them. And I don't shoot them vertical like this. This one is great to shoot horizontally, not there, but down here. Not terrible, but man, I've grown a lot. This was one of my favorites at the time, and looking back at it now, I can't get behind it. So many things. Firstly, the line here, everything's tilted. That bugs me. She's not. She makes a good triangle, which is what I was going for. But just this pose. Like she's scrunched up. There's no shape to her body. My editing was not flattering to her skin here. The black glove that covers her wrist, the mystery hand coming out here, not digging it. And she has no neck, totally scrunched up. And I'm clipping again on this side, so her foot's almost totally in shadow. This one's just fucking gone. The shape is about the only redeeming factor, I think, in this photo. She has a good expression, but I would have lifted her chin up so you can see some neck and not had this hand there, or had this one down to the side and this one. This hand could have been here and this arm could have been down or like across and over here, so that this leg can make the full triangle there. A lot of things I could have done with it that aren't this. Yeah, I haven't done anything like this, I think, since then. It kind of makes me wonder now. I do a lot of triangles. I mean, that's the basis of so many of my poses. But instead I'd have her sit facing me with this leg crossed over and this leg up like that, or facing away, but not this weird whatever's going on. Part of me wants to like get the gang back together and redo this shoot, but got the studio now. Oh my gosh, just look at these horizon lines. That's atrocious. I think I'm gonna fall over, get seasick or something. All right, cool. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed going back and looking at these and picking apart what I used to do. Maybe I'll grab some more if you like this one and we can do it again. But if you want to get your own images critiqued during my other critiques, send them to mike@boudoirguild.com. I always recommend my students and anybody submit images to critiques and photo competitions if you can get feedback. If it's just get a score and whatever, cool, do it if you want, no big deal. But if you can get actual feedback from someone who's a certified print comp judge, your work is going to get so much better, so much faster, because people who know what they're doing will pick apart your images in a constructive way. It's not anything personal. It's not about you as a photographer. It's someone looking at your work and saying, I see what you did here. These things are great. Adjust these things next time. And you will get so much better, so much faster. And again, if you want step-by-step instructions on how to compose, how to light, how to pose, way better than these, head it over to boudoirguild.com and I walk you through step-by-step all of that process. You are amazing. I'll see you inside.